Hoi An, Old Town, or the ancient city. Throughout are these labyrinthine alleyways. Feel like you're being teleported back in time. And in some senses you are. These are houses. People live back here. And it's very visually stimulating. Even in the daytime, you need several days to explore the old town. It's actually a pretty big space. But then there's something that happens when you reach the twilight hour. That's absolute magic. So right now in mid-November, we start to hit that twilight time at about 5 o'clock at night. At 5:30, the lights come on, at least right now. And it becomes just like everything else in Southeast Asia, something entirely different. Let's get a quick lay of the land before we get too carried away looking around. This, in light blue, is the actual Old Town ancient city. So it's a pretty big space. You got a lot of ground to cover to look around, but there's so much more. The lanterns happen in the river space right here. And the lanterns happen every night, not just on Lantern Festival nights on full moon. Down here in this river island, there's also a night market that lights up the streets, and this is also Bar Row right here at the riverfront. And the night market runs down this street. Homestay rows back here, lots of homestays. You have some riverside resorts down here. Not a lot of places for you to lodge and stay in the ancient city, in the old town. Tons of shops selling souvenirs, tailors making suits, coffee shops, bars, restaurants. But if you're looking for a place to stay with quick, easy access, pedestrian access to this ancient area, lots of options in this area surrounding. All the way out here, so many choices. You can't go wrong. It's pretty walkable. No matter where you choose to stay surrounding this area, the accessibility is very good, very walkable. Down in this corner, we have the market, Hoi An, and the fabric market with some of the tailors. Let's see what their selection looks like. Yeah, that'll be fun. It's been raining so much that the river is rising like floodwaters. So it's not a picture perfect thing, but we're gonna see if we can have some fun anyway. Maybe chase down some hidden gems. I don't know what we're gonna find, but follow me around. If you're going to Anbang Beach, it's up this way, up north, and it's about a 4-kilometer trip. So unless you want to be traveling back and forth either on your own motorbike, Grab, it's a rather isolated thing up there. And if you've learned anything following me around, it's that we're always gonna find something interesting out there. So saddle up, buckle in. Let's go see what Hoi An, the ancient city, has to offer. Everywhere you go in this city, you have at your fingertips cooking classes, lantern making classes, and all sorts of culturally immersive experiences that you can just walk up at any time of day or evening and start on your own. So don't feel like you have to reserve these things ahead of time unless you're on a tight timeline. Getting back and forth from Da Nang to Hoi An, it's about a half-hour ride. So you have a few choices. You can use the city bus, which costs about 30,000 dong. That's just a little over $1 US. But you've got to get those stops just right. You've got to figure out your start and end point. Well, that'll work. You can take a Grab ride, which I have done, and that's in the mid 300,000 dong. So that's getting close to $15 US for the trip. Or you can use something like the Berrien shuttle service, and that'll run you 130,000 dong. That's in the neighborhood of just over $5 US. But to get the party started, the first thing we're gonna do is see if there's any truth to the hype behind the coconut forest. It's off to the southeast of the actual old town, probably about a 4 or 5 kilometer ride, so you can jump in a Grab or a shuttle bus to take you out there. You don't have to pay a ton of money to get there. Let's go see if those rides are actually, do they look anything like the Insta famous videos that you see from the young folks? Or is it a case, as always, of nothing is what it seems? So the most cost-effective way to do this is to just get here. It is a historical area. Entry is controlled by the government. The ticket for entry is 30,000 dong. That is $1 US in change. And there are countless of these companies trying to sell you the ride. What I have been able to figure out is once you're here on site, if you're a soloist like me, you shouldn't be paying any more than 100,000 dong or $4 US for your boat ride. If you come in a group or join a group, it gets even cheaper with numbers, which would make sense. If you're buying a tour ahead of time, getting on a big fancy bus coming out here, you're probably going to be paying a lot more. That's great for the peace of mind and the convenience. I mean, it's not the best weather today. I'm not afraid of going. I don't know, the spectacle is more interesting than the actual ride. They do the spinnies and So tucked back a little bit from the really loud music and the crowds, taboo bamboo. Let's go have a look at what they've got. Tan. That's time. When his dad started this business, all he was using were two blades, a saw and a knife to cut. And they still prefer to do handmade as much as possible. Out of 250 different types of bamboos available across Vietnam, they use 20 different types, depending on how much strength, flexibility, thickness they want out of the product. What you can do if you come here on location, you can do a 3-hour workshop for 700,000 dong and make your own smallish project like that. And that price includes the take home. But look at this, check out this lamp. They can make just about anything that you can dream up, which I'm not surprised to hear that. Now, when you're walking through the village itself, it's definitely an unpolished phenomenon. It almost has the feel like, are you even in the right place? Except for the fact that there is such a tourist march going through here. You've got the riverboat cavalry that comes, parks, marches everybody through. So it's somewhere in the middle of a transition between the old ways, being a live producer of something that's being used all the time, and then transitioning into the tourism element. So it almost has this feel like it's like a commoditization of the old ways. But 2/3 of the houses offer up hands-on experience like you see happening behind me here. So you can just walk up, take a look inside. You know, there's plenty of people doing the pottery thing. And then there's all kinds of gifts you can buy too, of all different sizes and shapes. So there's definitely an ironic feel to how ancient this place feels when you walk through it. It's very old, very narrow alleyways. People are just living their lives and making the ceramic. And yet there's like by the hundreds tourists being marched through. It's just this very strange feeling. This is my first friend I made here in the village, right? She's got all kinds of beautiful, really well glazed and polished works, you know, cups, mugs. She's got the, whatever you call the spinner, ready to go for me if I wanted to make anything. These are wind chimes with the conical hats. How much? 100,000. That translates to $4 US. Ooh. So you'll pay 30,000 dong to enter the actual pottery village. You pay another 50,000 dong to enter the museum that tells the story of the history and methodology of pottery and clay works in the area and across Vietnam. If you're a ceramics person, on your way into the museum, you walk through this sort of theme park of miniature ceramic sculptures of iconic sites around the world. Though kitschy, it's still kind of impressive, right? It would take talent to build all this. So I was just locking up the door. I'm coming down from the 3rd floor of the homestay I'm staying at.
I messaged to you. You have a hungry.
We talk later. That's the lovely, the incomparable Miss 10. Why am I even telling you this? I thought that a homestay, if you pick it in your lodging options, I thought it would be like Airbnb in the United States, where you're choosing to stay in a spare bedroom in a house where it's just like, yeah, no, too many nightmare stories of how this unfolds. But here, and I'm just learning this 6 months in, I can't believe I didn't know this. A homestay is like a hotel. Here in Hoi An, Vietnam specifically, it can be a 3-story high building with as many as 8 separate rooms. So it's like a hotel. It just so happens that the family lives on the ground floor with us. So like all the security measures are in place, but it's a more intimate feeling experience. Now I found it on accident, and you get cost savings with a trade-off for luxury, but there's this whole row back here of all these homestays, and this has completely changed the math for me on where I'm open to staying at. And I recommend you consider the same kind of openness. It's a game changer. And she won't let me leave without eating, so I'm sweating because it's spicy, not because it's hot outside.
The homestay, I think, for same for your family and very friendly and talk together anything. And but in the different in the reception and service to say hello, goodbye, something like that. But not talk a lot for information in the Hoi An. And then normally in the homestay about for 8 room or 10 room or less. But the villa or about for 10 to 15 for the room. And have a swimming pool or something like that. And the hotel, I think for more for sitting until more I think for the hotel. Very different in the homestay and hotel and the villa, same, but different.
Yeah.
Same, have the room have air conditioning, hot water. Young people and I think should go to homestay very easy and cheaper. And now homestay, every homestay have very clean. But it's important so you go to traveling, but you sleep very good. The owner open, friendly, welcome, and so see good.
We had a break in the rain today, and the water levels of the river have come down so that they're just exposing this pathway, this roadway that I need to go explore where they do the wood carvings. Oh man, if it rains while I'm out here, I'm screwed. I can't get back. So, man, I just crossed these two bridges on the way here that are just for bikes and motorbikes, and it was like the sketchiest, it was the scariest bridge crossing. But I survived. Oh, there's some water buffaloes hanging out. So we're just on an island, a different island in the Hoi An area. And we're looking, man, we're just on the hunt for some hidden gems that maybe the other tourists, just interesting things. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, check this out. To continue on our way and get there, this is the road. There's no road. So even in ancient town, the water level is up to the buildings. I mean, you know, it's not postcard stuff, but it's fun. It's actually fun. All right, we're gonna take some side routes. We're gonna try to find a way to get there. I am determined. This is so beautiful. It's unbelievable. We tried to do a couple of rice paddy crossings, but they were all completely inundated. It would have been great camera work, but like I'm old enough to know when to admit defeat and not do something that's gonna get me killed. I think we're getting pretty close, and I hope so. There are no Westerners that come back here. That is very obvious to me based on the looks on people's faces I'm getting. We're not even that far from the city, but it's just so apparent that, you know, all the tourists go to the exact same spots. They do it in a very tight radius. We're trying to ford these rice paddy crossings to get to, we're trying to get to this place where they take giant pieces of wood and do really giant intricate carvings, and I can't seem to get there. So once again, I mean, the scenery is beautiful. It's spectacular, but I'm like, I want to get across and I can't. This is what I have to work with. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. Let's get back on the trail, see if we can find a way there. You know, sometimes in life you just have to know, even when you're this close to what you wanted to get done, when the signs say, move on. The destination we are looking for, the wood carving place, is literally at that intersection 100 meters away. But the floodwaters are right here at my feet. When the waters rise, they bring everything with it anywhere in the world. And I'm not interested in the journey. This adventure stops here. So we gave it a good try. We got to see some beautiful Vietnamese scenery. You did too. Sometimes you just gotta know. And this is one of those times, like I'm not about to go blazing through that just to go see a wood sculpture. Too much risk. It's been a good day. We gave it the old college try, and nobody can fault us for turning around, even though we're this close, and it will remain forever a mystery. Just exactly what's out there, at least for me. What a great slice of life, though, we get to witness. In the throes of defeat, there's still something very beautiful happening all around us. And I wanted to share that with you today. And these people seem to love it, because I don't think any Westerners come here, at least not often. So, on to the next thing. Okay, the saga continues. We're on our way back to the bridge, so I have to do the really dangerous bridge crossing again, of course, to get back. But we tried to go find the traditional mat weaving village, and same thing, it was blocked off. It's a recurring theme. You know, the beautiful thing is, this is dream come true for the farmers. When those floodwaters rise, if you have seen the color, the richness of river water in Southeast Asia, you know, you wouldn't go swimming in it, of course. But that is so fertile for the farmers. It's absolutely the best scenario possible for them in a wet season to get the blanket, the new cover of topsoil and nutrients. So, you know, I celebrate the beauty at the same time that none of this is working out as planned. On some level, do you really ever want your plans to work out exactly the way you envision them? What's the fun in that? All right, we're crossing the bridge. I bet you there's a line of motorbikes right behind me trying to get by. That just adds to the storyline, the narrative. Huh? Would you do this on a Monday In America? No. How totally appropriate this all unfolded as I can't find these two waypoints I'm looking for. And I decide I'm gonna bicycle across town, try to find another obscure location. And in the process of this search, I just randomly stumble upon this Buddhist monastery. It's a real life thing. I don't even know, there's nobody else here. It's totally quiet. The monks are like tending to their plants. It is beautiful. It is stunning in here. And I thought, how appropriate is it that it just sort of unfolded that way, no matter what, chewing on the frustration of this simple thing that's just not going my way. It's not working out the way I had planned it to, and feeling like I'm gonna come up empty-handed and land in this spot where it's just so quiet. And even just the visuals, if you've spent much time in Southeast Asia, just the visuals of the Buddhist areas, it just sort of remind you, let that shit go, man. Take a deep breath. We're gonna give this our third and final try for the day. Looking for hidden treasures. There's a little bit of a misty sprinkle starting on us, and that's okay. It's refreshing. I'm a little sweaty. We've come up empty on a couple of these. We stopped in a Buddhist temple to find some center and calm in our lives. It worked a little bit, but I'm not ready to give up just yet. So the sun is going down. It's gonna be dark in about an hour. And I don't wanna be out here too long, A, because I have dark clothes on and I don't have any lights and the traffic, but B, and maybe even more important than my personal safety, as the lights come up in the ancient city. So the crazy thing is, like in the daytime, it's just ancient. There's like not much more you can say about it. But once the lights come up at night, oh, that whole place is an absolute candy bar for your eyeballs. It is not to be missed. Now make no mistake, it is very touristy. It's shoulder to shoulder. It doesn't matter if it's pouring down rain, the umbrellas are bumping each other and it's still packed. Xin chào. Okay, so since it took us all day, we're here at the end of the business day. They're cleaning up the mess. But we did find the Driftwood village, right? So they reclaim the driftwood, turn it into art. You have a number of little working tiny art studios here, slightly different flavors to them, right? You can see, some of these are actually really beautiful pieces. It's got this funky, somewhere between a retro and a modern thing happening here. It's a little bit lipstick up front and it's very rustic in the back. It just makes for a nice little target point, waypoint to go on a field trip if you need to get out of the insanity of Hoi An. Really pleasant environment. They've got restrooms and a coffee shop. There's nothing really all that flashy about it, but you're out in the middle of probably the highlight is that you have to go through the rice fields to get here. Like, it's not easy to find this place. And as you know, as you've been on the journey with me today, that was half the fun. I don't think I would have enjoyed finding this, actually, had it been so easy to score a home run on any of this search. So here we are in the ancient town at one of the markets. Let's go take a look inside, see what they have. Shoes all around me, leather, the smell of leather is in the air. And just take a look at some of these shoes. Look at the colors on these shoes. You can have anything done here. Now we're getting into the section with the fabric and the tailors, and they have all these tailor shops spotted within the fabrics. So if you see something you like, you can have anything made. Your imagination and the sky is the limit. So if you want something truly wild, you can, the sky is the limit here. Let's just get a look at this. This is crazy. I've met numerous people that have had tailor button down t-shirts, and then if it doesn't come out just right, they fix it on the spot. You know, this is crazy back here. So you have to come see this. If you're in Hoi An, don't just walk around the ancient city. Be sure you come into this fabric market. 2 hours.
One suit, 2 hours.
See, they'll do it like same day if you want that done. How much does it cost a tailor suit? Linen, whole suit.
Blazer and trouser.
Everything. $75 US. Yes. Not bad.
Yes.
What about cashmere?
90 to 125
US dollars. 90 to 125. This is the real deal. They're not screwing around. This is really robust construction. How much to make a button-down t-shirt? Linen collar?
$15 to $18.
15 to 18 US dollars.
Yes.
So it's pricier than, you know, what you were thinking, but I've heard they fit best fitting shirts you've ever worn in your life. What are my options if I buy a suit tailor-made to have them sent back to my home country?
I will call the post office to come to my area. So they will work with you, and then you will take them your address, where you are, your WhatsApp number, and then they will do that with you. After that, they send back home for you, but they will keep you the tracking number about your shipping. So that's why when the way to go to US, then you can have the tracking number, and then you will see where the suit going.
How much to send a full suit back to the US?
Roughly about $40 to send from Vietnam to US.
Every shop I'm looking in, it's a completely different set of fabric patterns. There's so much to see and do here in Hoi An anyway. But if there was ever a place in Vietnam where you really want to commit to some shopping and some buying, this is it, my friends. This is it. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to help. You gotta love this, you know? I mean, everywhere I'm looking, it's just these bright colored fabrics where no matter how conservative and plain laced you want to be, no matter what kind of stitch job you want, or how flamboyant you want it to come out, the options are all here. So we're still wandering around the fabric market, and as you can see, there's way more than just fabrics and suits. It is just like everywhere in this city. It's an absolute feast for the eyeballs. It is like an assault on the senses in the most amazing way possible. I mean, look at this. This is not just a quick stop. I could spend 2 days looking around this place. So look at the surroundings. All of the tailors are working, putting everything together. I mean, this place is absolutely mental. You have to come here. I can't believe I've been here for a week and haven't walked through here yet. It's kind of like this rectangular, but there's multiple buildings. So you can't just step inside and assume you've taken it all in. Oh my God, just like the one in Nha Trang, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. So please do yourself a favor, add this to your list of when you're in Hoi An to come visit. So there's all the tailors that are in the ancient city. I would be willing to bet you are gonna pay tourist prices out there while you still might pay tourist prices in here. Now, I've already noticed this. I've been talking to all the ladies in here. When I walk away and I won't commit to anything, they're dropping the prices a little bit. So do keep your bargaining mindset with you, right? Keep your wits about you. And remember that no matter where you are, in places like this, the price is always negotiable. There's this whole area where you can get warm clothes if you're headed up into the mountains in the wintertime, or if you're northbound in Vietnam, right? And as soon as you leave the coastal areas, it's gonna get cold in the mountains. So you can gear up here. And as usual, you will never go hungry or thirsty if you spend too much time out here and then you start to feel like you need a break. You got coffee shops where you can sit and watch the world go by. You can get yourself a banana or a mango. Yeah, how much?
50.
50,
Yes,
so expensive. Oh, that's with Nutella.
Happy hour.
Oh, happy hour 50, that's $2 US. You can do the conversion yourself now.
Banana pancake
Oh.
with Nutella for you.
Not right now, not right now.
40. Now better better.
Oh, look at that. Now it's down to 40. Happy hour, man. Happy hour is the time to be out. See, look at these. Look at all the things you have to choose from. I did have the mango crepe the other night, and it is absolutely delicious. Oh, it smells so good. I wish I could put the smell into the camera. And you might be asking yourself, is there a novelty fatigue to this? If I've been doing this and stopping by markets every day for 6 months, does it get old and does it get tired? Does the tone of my voice sound like I get tired of it? No, it never gets old. It's almost like, even if it's the same thing, it's just this completely new experience every time. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll start to get it once you're on the road. Okay, so it's just been like, oh my gosh, raining so much. And finally, the water level has dropped enough that you can walk around. That's a good thing. Water levels, whew. This was impassable yesterday. So back in Georgetown, Penang of Malaysia and Malacca, Malaysia, there's this slogan of at every turn or with every turn. And what they're talking about is if you slow down a little bit and always survey your surroundings, there's just magic from every new angle and at every time of day as the lighting changes. But Hoi An takes it to a whole new level. I mean, even like it's gross out, but yet it's still amazing. There is so much happening. See, nothing will stop the party in Hoi An. Nothing. So this is something very special, something one of a kind. In this shop, and we're down in the southeast corner of Old Town, there's no other shops like this around here. But what she's doing is taking bamboo roots, the roots, and hand carving these sculptures. Now it's a little bit macabre, but it's very unique. You're not gonna find this anywhere else. So it looks like the going price for one of these is somewhere around just under 200,000 Vietnamese dong. That's $8 US. $8 US. Oh, she's
Hoi An, yeah.
She's the only one.
Yeah.
Only one in Hoi An.
My head. Kung Fu Buddha. Happy Buddha. This is, yeah. And Kung Fu. And King Vietnam. And happy. And long life.
Now in the daytime, there is a certain homogeneity to what is featured in the ancient town streets, the old town streets. Lots of shops, leather goods, shoes, tailors. There's coffee shops, silk shops, cafes, restaurants. So the charm of the old town, it's not that everybody wants to go shopping for all the things that are predictably everywhere. It's that the setting is so enchanting, it's so authentic. And what happens once that sun goes down, there are masters of lighting that is just the right combination of the age of the buildings, the wear and tear, and this authentic little dreamscape you feel like you're walking around in. So even when the streets are crowded shoulder to shoulder, the scenery is spectacular, but so is the people watching. Now, as those hours drag on and the streets of the ancient city kind of die down, they become so photogenic, especially when the ground is wet from the rain, because the light reflects off of the cobblestones and really just turns it up a notch, that romance of where you're at. As those hours wind down, people seem to migrate from the streets of the ancient city over to Bar Row on the other side of the river. You don't have to time coming here during the Lantern Festival. Lantern Festivals happen on the full moon, but they do the lanterns and the boat tours every single night. So you can come down here to where the market, all of that market stuff, the fabric market, all the t-shirts, all the bamboo root carving, that's all, we're at the corner of it. All the boats are taking off. You don't need to reserve tours ahead of time. There are countless of these tour carriers that'll take you out on the water. The signs go up at dark saying 20 minutes for 170,000 dong. That's just under $7 US. I've had people just first thing they throw out is 100,000 dong, which is $4 US for a 20-minute ride around, okay? So you got lots of options. I wish I could do a whole search across town because this is a bit of a food paradise here. All of the food I have had is so good, but I followed the 3 major hot topic banh mi shops, right? So we went to Banh Mi Phung, where Anthony Bourdain, late great Anthony Bourdain, stopped, and it's busy. Everybody knows about it. It's hot on the backpacker trail. We went to Miss Khan, the Banh Mi Queen, same thing. It's busy, it's popular. And Banh Mi Sum, that was a local recommendation. Busy, but not quite as discovered yet, it looks like. It's a highly unscientific sample size. I wish I could have done the whole city, but there was so much going on. The one shop of those three that I just couldn't stop thinking about to come back for a second time is Banh Mi Sum. So if you're in town and it's overcrowded at the other two, stop on by. And there's another shop right next door, Banh Mi Saigon, that looks like really good too. But I only have so much stomach room. We're gonna have our second round. I mean, this thing's loaded. Is the score settled? No, of course not. There's so many shops. Hey, so listen, if you know of a really good banh mi shop here in Hoi An, drop it in the comments below. I know that people everywhere are looking for the good hot food tip, the new thing. This is a local Hoi An dish. You can't get this anywhere else. It's called khao lao, and it's a pork noodle dish, but the noodles are distinctly different than anything you've ever had. Sweet, spongy texture. The first time I tried to film this was out at the coconut forest, and I had this great shot of the coconut bowls going by, but the problem was the microphone wasn't on. It's such a great little, pork noodles. There's, some greens in here, and like these crunchy little, almost like chips. Usually this bowl will go for 35,000 dong up to 50,000 dong. So that's $1 and change up to like $2. If you're paying much more than that, you know how I feel about that. Check yourself. That is so good. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter to me what's in it. It's so good. In the ancient city is this shop called Master Tan. They do have a website you can order from called mastertan.vn, of course, because it's Vietnam. And I just tried everything in here is made in Vietnam, purely Vietnamese products.
This one is the mung bean cake. This one is the traditional flavor. This one is the green teas. And this one is the lotus. Ingredient, this one is totally vegan. The tea already you have a try the jasmine tea. You have to just smell it.
So you can't be here with me right now to smell how good that smells. And the taste, that's some of the best little dessert and tea I've ever tried.
The cinnamon, we taken from Trà My Quảng Nam, where had the best cinnamon from Vietnam, so you can see.
What a beautiful place. I'm sorry you couldn't be here with me in person, but hopefully I've given you some ideas if you're headed this way and maybe giving you a little more honest picture of what it's actually like to be here. How could we finish this out any other way than under the lantern light? So that's gonna do it for our trip to Hoi An. I hope you've enjoyed running amok in the streets and going on the misadventures and perilous searches for beautiful things here. Nothing ever turns out the way you think it's going to, but it's been a heck of a good time. And you know, finishing it out under the lantern light is just the only way you can close this. So I'll see you in the next town.